Big Jim Hickory was a lumberjack. He was a big, burly lumberjack. He lived in a little cabin out in the forest. He had big, burly shoulders and a big, bristly beard. Every morning he did limbering up exercises. Do you ever do limbering up exercises? Well, when you're a lumberjack, you do for sure. And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Then he'd have a big stack of pancakes for breakfast to give him lots of energy to do all of that work. Delicious. And he would get out his trusty axe and he'd sling it over his shoulder and out he'd go. Chop, chop, chop. Can you help him chop? Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, 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 chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop timber! After a long day of swinging and whacking and cleaving and hacking, Jim headed back to his cabin to take it easy. Well, that night, just about the time he was ready to go to bed, he heard a peck, peck, peckety peck, 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 peckety peck, 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 peckety peck, his front door. So he went to the door, and there stood a bird, a very angry bird, that said, "You lumberjack, what the heck do you think you're doing? You chopped down my tree. I just built a beautiful new nest, and you chopped down the tree. You ruined it. Where am I supposed to live now?" And so Jim scratched his chin, thought about it for a little bit. I know. I've got this big bristly beard. I will just take you, and you can live in my beard. How does that sound? Yeah! And Bird settled down into Jim's big bristly beard. And they went to bed. Darn, Bird makes so much noise. How's a person supposed to sleep? Well, the next morning he woke up, a little bit groggy, but he thought he could manage, so he went out into the kitchen after he did his exercises. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch, and got his big pile of pancakes out. And this time he had a bird to feed too. So Bird had some, and he had some, and when they were both full, the bird flew away out to do his bird thing during the day, and Jim went out to work. Well, today he took the logs and stripped all the branches off of them, just like that. Stripped them off, put them in a big old pile, just like that, and then he built a great huge fire and burned up all of those branches. He was ready to call it a day. That's a lot of work, a lot of smoke. I'm tired. So he called to the bird, "Come on, let's go on in." Bird flew over, landed in his beard, and they went in to relax for the evening. Well, he had no more than gotten his axe put away and sat down when he heard a scratching at the door. Who can that be? Well, when he opened the door, who did he find? But a very angry porcupine. And Porcupine said, "You know what? You lumberjack, what are you thinking? You destroyed all the makings for my new house today. I planned on using those branches to build me a house. Now they're all burned up. Where am I supposed to live?" Well, how about my big bushy beard? Do you think you want to come and live with the bird and my big bushy beard? Porcupine said, "Sure, I'll move right in." So Porcupine came over, settled himself in, and they went to bed. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Settle it down, Porcupine, come on. Oh, finally, the sun came up. He got up. He stretched. Oh, ow! Ow, 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 I got porcupine quills in my hand. Really? And you bird, you're way too loud. What do you think you're doing? Well, I better do a few stretches anyway. Maybe that'll help wake me up. Okay. And stretch, and stretch, and stretch, and stretch, and stretch, and stretch, and oh, my hand hurts from the porcupine. Ow. Stretch. Man. Well, that's all I can do. Better have some pancakes for breakfast. Yep. Pancakes. And he shared pancakes with Bird and with Porcupine. And then he had some himself. Oh, what is that? There's bird poop on my shirt. Really? I gotta go to work. So away flew the bird. And away went the porcupine. And they went about their day. And then Jim went out and he said, "Oh, gotta get these logs to the lumber yard." Yep. So I'm gonna float them downstream and to the lumber yard. So there's one. And here's two. Okay, there they go. Well, after a full day of lugging and splashing, he was pooped. And here came the bird. Back in the beard. And here came the porcupine. Settled a little more carefully this time. They heard a thump, 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 thump at the front door. Who's that now? Well, it was a very angry and irate beaver. "You lumberjack! What do you think you're up to? You took those logs and put them in that stream and pushed them down, and when they got down to my house, they knocked my house down, and I don't have anywhere to live. What do you expect to do about that?" Well, Jim didn't even answer him. He just took hold of him. Thump, 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 with the tail, and settled him in his beard. And that night, he got no sleep at all between the bird tweeting, tweet, and the porcupine shooting off quills in every direction, and the thumping of that beaver's tail. The next morning, he couldn't even get any energy to do his exercises. And he didn't even want anything to eat, really. He said, "You know, that's it. I've had enough. Y'all have to move out today. Come on, everybody out." Thump, 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 thump. And they all waited to see what he was going to do. Well, he went in and he got his straight razor and he started to shave. He shaved off his beard and his mustache. And when he got all done, he took that beard, all those whiskers, and made them into a pile. And he took them outside and he put them outdoors and let the porcupine and the bird and the beaver settle in. Looking outside, and he said, you know what? It looks awfully bare out there. No trees, just the one. I believe I am going to get busy and plant some trees. So he went out that day and he planted lots of little saplings, bunch of little pine saplings. And over time, and it took quite a spell, not only did the beard grow back, it grew back just about as big as it had been before. Grew back. And he would sit outside in the evening with his animals, his newfound friends, and they would read all about nature and how to grow trees. Took those trees a long time to grow, but it's always worth the wait. The end.